Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. At the time of you're watching this, it's a new week. So, welcome back to the work week. As you can see, a new guest with us this week. We have Robert coming into us from Spark Talent, just to kind of give us a rundown of what he's working on this week, all the exciting things going on with Spark. So, looking forward to getting a peek into what your business does every week. I see all the posts and a lot of presence on LinkedIn, social media. So excited to kind of dive into that. But for all of you that kind of watch the show, you know we follow a loose format, and I'll say that, but a format nonetheless. So Robert and I are going to kind of break down what we have going on this week first before we jump into that. So for me, what's going on this week? I guess the main motivator for me, I'm not wearing the hat this week, but it is Cowboys week for the Eagles. So that's always kind of one of those ones that we have circled on the schedule just as the true test of what the Eagles season is going to look like. Last year, that wasn't a great finish for either of those Cowboys games. So hoping for some better results this time around. Looking forward to seeing the game and having some friendly back and forth with some of my friends who are Cowboys fans. Beyond that, we are still in full swing here in October, and my wife is like a horror film aficionado. She usually does like a lot of research in terms of like the most out there foreign like disturbing horror films that she can find. And so this week we have a few on the slate. So wish me luck because that is going to be a couple of my nights kind of delving into. It's usually French horror cinema that she really enjoys. Sometimes German too, but we'll see. We'll see what's on the slate for us this week. And the final thing motivating me for this week ahead is just a family gathering we have going on this weekend. Try to get together with as much family as we can throughout the holidays, and with October kind of starting some of those celebrations between September, October, and Hispanic Heritage Month. My family usually does some things. So this weekend we're looking forward to closing out Hispanic Heritage Month with the gatherings, good food, good celebrations, lots of colors, and decorations going up too. So looking forward to all of that. So what's going on for me the week ahead work wise? So I did have a short week the previous week. So main thing number one, catching up on emails is going to be the priority here. Just making sure I'm addressing anything that needs addressed. I have a coworker who's covering for me, and he usually does a dynamite job. So probably won't have too much to catch up on. The other goal that I set for myself this week ahead is I want to get a little more variety in terms of what I'm posting on LinkedIn. I try to think of new things to get up there, as I'm sure that if you follow me, you kind of see I try out some things, Opera Tuesday, Win Wednesday. So just looking to add something to the rotation so it's not the same thing every week. So that's a goal I'm setting for myself, is to think of something new that I can do on maybe like a once a month or a bi-weekly basis on social media with posting about open jobs. And then my win from the week previously, beyond just having that time off, taking the time away, always encouraged to use our PTO here at Novalex. But beyond just that being a win, I did get to close out two positions prior to being off. So that was a good way to go into the vacation for me. So that's what I have going on this week. Robert, how are things for you shaping up for the week ahead?
Hey, Matt. Things are shaping up pretty good, and that kind of boils down to doing the preparation beforehand to really set ourselves up. So yeah, it's looking good. Was able to get a good win last weekend in front of a new client, learn a little bit more about what they're looking for, and I'm going to get them a resume today. So hopefully that goes well. But it's about sticking with the process, and you'll see the results.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So with you being part of Spark Talent, I know there's some like different divisions, different branches that underneath Spark that have certain specialties they focus on and things like that. So in terms of your overall role with the company, what would you say that the focus is on your end in terms of day to day?
Yeah, so I'm an account manager over at Spark Talent. My day to day would be focusing on what my clients' needs are, keeping in touch with them on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, really with how things are, turning and burning within the manufacturing industry. So really just making sure that I have a good understanding of what their needs are, aligning our team as well as myself to be able to put their priorities in to meet our priorities. So every account manager at Spark, really anybody, first come is a recruiter. So whether you're, staying within the recruiting role, whether you're moving into an account manager role, a sales role, director role, we're all recruiters. So that'll never change. And it's cool to be able to full desk or see something from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So was this kind of, I like to ask this to anyone that's in kind of recruiting talent acquisition, because some people kind of knew they wanted to get into it, but a lot of the people that you talk to that got into recruiting and talent acquisition just kind of fell into it. It wasn't something that they necessarily were seeking out when they started their career. So how was that journey for you? Was it something that you had in the back of your mind as I'd like to try this, or was it kind of a learning curve? And as you tried out other things, you found yourself more aligned to the role you're in now?
Yeah. So I kind of had an idea that I would like it. And really this started maybe 5 years ago. I worked for a company. I was out on a job site for an installation, and we used Spark Talent to get a couple of installation workers on site to help us with this project. And I actually spoke to Aaron Opalewski on the phone directly during that project.
Mhm.
Had a good feeling for what he was about, what Spark was about. And then fast forward a few years, I found myself looking for another opportunity. Saw that Aaron had posted something on LinkedIn, got in contact with him, messaged him on LinkedIn. And then a day later, we were on the phone talking about how Spark was doing, kind of what I was looking for. And to kind of back up from that, I had, a friend, and she had mentioned that somebody she worked with was looking for an internship in the industrial engineering field. I
Mhm.
was able to talk to a couple of our, board members, said, hey, here's the resume. This is what he's looking for. He's going to be graduating soon. Is there an opportunity? And so I was recruiting, before I was a recruiter, and it was really cool to be able to help somebody else out, and get them in a position that, whether it got their foot in the door somewhere or was a better opportunity. So intrinsically, it was extremely rewarding, and I liked the way that felt. So it was just kind of a no brainer to go back to that, professionally, I guess, to get a new role.
Okay. Now it seems right now that talent acquisition and sourcing, recruiting seems to be a very popular field that a lot of people are trying to enter. So when you made that switch, was there anything that advice that you got while you were starting out in terms of the new position that you would pass on to people that are trying to get into that position, is to prepare them for a future role within talent acquisition or recruiting?
Yeah. So with me personally, I had worked a commission job before in the restaurant as a server, as a bartender when I was in college and just after college.
Mhm.
Um, but I didn't work a commission job where I was cold calling, stuff of that nature. So I had a million questions that Aaron and our vice president Fletcher and another vice president Ryan that had a bunch of conversations with them. They filled me in on everything and really painted a good picture. So going from a salary position to a commission based position, I would tell everybody, hey, you get what you put into it. So you can only really control what you can control. And it's a people driven business. There's going to be all sorts of things that happen, but stick to the process, hit your calls, your messages, make sure you're doing what you're doing, and then you're going to see the results. So if you get a few wins and you take your foot off the gas pedal, um, you know you can see that, but just sticking to it and controlling what you can control, daily call lists, et cetera, what I had alluded to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So now, as someone who was recruiting before you were a recruiter, a lot of people utilize LinkedIn for that purpose to try to find something new. And as recruiters, a lot of our role is to prepare people for their interviews, for their new positions, their next steps. So What's a piece of advice that you like to give to people preparing for an interview, a new job opportunity, a completely different field that they're going to be entering in, to just kind of get them ready for that, that you'd be open to kind of sharing to anyone that's watching this?
Yeah, absolutely. And it really all starts with communication with our clients, really learning the roles, not just connecting with the HR manager, but connecting with that department manager and other leaders in that company, so you can get a good, strong feel for what the position is, what the culture of the company is, and then you're able to really relay that over to the client. Um, I before I was in recruiting, I had recruiters reach out to me, and it seemed like it was a lot of vague conversations. Didn't really know too much about the position they were calling me on, so it could have been an amazing position, just wasn't ever translated into something that made sense to me. So that's what I like to do, and I think we do a really great job with that at Spark, is learning the position. Recruiters teaming up with the account manager to get the soup to nuts description of what it is, and that way we can translate it over a phone call, a video call, in person, and then communicating the day before, the morning of. What we do is we give them a full email list of the details, who they're meeting with, what time it is, where to go through the front door, park here, etc., the position, who you're meeting with, everything, so that they're 100% prepared. All questions are answered when they're going into the interview.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So then last question I would pose to you in terms of, and you kind of mentioned it earlier, that LinkedIn kind of helped you in terms of when you're making that transition and networking overall through LinkedIn. So people that are looking to build their network, to get in front of more recruiters, more hiring managers, what advice would you give to them when they're trying to build their brand in that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, present yourself for what you're looking for. Have relevant, pertinent information to what you want on your LinkedIn. As much as everything is automated today, a lot of the recruiters are using applicant tracking systems. So you want to make sure you're getting keywords onto your resume, onto your LinkedIn profile, and then that way it just makes it easier for recruiters to contact you. But on another note, just finding people like decision makers and leaders inside the industry that you want to get into, connecting with them. Once you connect, send a personalized message. Hey, Dean, great connecting with you. My name is Robert. I have an interest in what you're doing. Here's why I think. Here's why I'm interested. I'd love to chat with you when you get a moment. It's not a one size fits all message. You're adding a couple things in there of what specific industry and why it could be a good fit, why you're interested. It really helps you stand out.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's kind of one of those things where it's people don't really know, and not every recruiter is going to say send the message. But I'm always a strong proponent of that as well. I think that any way you can make yourself stand out is certainly a good step to take. The worst case scenario, it gets left on red, right? So at least
Yeah.
make the attempt.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody has an extremely busy schedule. So, from the recruiter standpoint or the account manager standpoint, follow up on that. Make sure that you set a reminder on your phone, your, calendar, your paper calendar, what have you. Follow up in, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it may be, just to check in, because you never know, somebody might just overlook it. And then, a few months down the road, they have a need, and you're right there communicating with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's it for us for this week. Robert, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on here with me and kind of talk about everything going on at Spark. Really enjoying everything that you guys post over there and seeing how engaging, active you are on social media. I think it's refreshing to see from a company. So appreciate you taking some time to kind of break that down for us. If you haven't yet, make sure you're sending a connection request to Robert, and we will talk to you next week.
Matt, I appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to continuing our relationship and seeing what we can do to help other people out, get them in a better situation.
Absolutely.
All right, take care.